When you golf in Missouri, the courses are so close, you'll spend more time on the fairway than the freeway. Reserve a tee time at the Regal Osage National, designed by the king himself, Arnold Palmer. Take a cart ride on the wild side in the breathtaking surrounds of Paynes Valley, designed by Tiger Woods. And after the back nine, there's still world-class dining and distilleries, shops and spas, museums, and more. Find your new golf MO in Missouri. Start planning your golf getaway at visitmo.com.
This is an ad by Regain Couples Therapy and features real testimonials.
This was our first time trying therapy, and honestly, it was long overdue. Looking back, we just wish we had started sooner.
Regain's qualified therapists help couples when they can't get there on their own.
We thought it was intimacy issues, but Andrea helped us uncover a deeper root cause we hadn't even realized was there.
Visit regain.com/couplespod to get 10% off your first month. Regain, powered by BetterHelp.
Welcome to the Dogs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
All right, we're back, and we are still alone at the table, but that's because all the alumni are doing a little meet and greet thing right now. So we'll be getting, I think, the first two guys should be Mike Pruitt and Felix Reiter going to sit down with us here in a few minutes. So while we wait for them, we'll just continue BSing with you guys here in the chat. Like I said before, we are at the Bowl with Browns Legends. Legends Bowling, they branded it a couple different ways. Either way, we're bowling with former Browns players. This is pretty awesome here today. Wabash Lanes in New Philadelphia, Ohio, presented by the Tuscarawas County Browns backers. They're putting this whole thing on. It is awesome. So if you guys are local, like we've said, get on down here, check it out, hang out, meet and greet everybody. And hopefully now we got some balls rolling behind us. It doesn't get too loud down here on the lanes, but we're having a good time. The live stream today presented by Omaha Steaks. Make sure you guys go to omahasteaks.com. Get your packages, your steaks, your burgers, everything that you need for 4th of July. Right now they got 50% off site-wide. And then use our code when you check out, BARK, promo code BARK, to get $45 off your order at omahasteaks.com. All right, man. We were talking receivers before we had to abruptly take a quick break.
Pause,
there. So we talked about Judy, talked about the Tillman injury history. Mm-hmm. I mean, Deontay Johnson could be, we've said it, could be your wide receiver one on some weeks. Like, he is a wide receiver one
he can be that dude.
He can be that dude, exactly. Yeah. Or he could be unemployed.
I know. It's shaky ground, right? It's crazy. Yeah. Just at a quick look at the depth chart, you're just like, man, there's not a lot behind it. You know what I mean? and I'm just talking about, like, I'm talking second tier, third tier. We're genuinely talking nervous about starters. We're talking about, like, I think moving into this year, we're pretty comfortable with what we can get from Judy, right?
Yeah.
We just like to see it again. At least, a solid year.
Yep.
If he puts up 1,200 yards, I'm like, hey, that's a good year. I'm fine with that. I'd like to see Tillman stay on the field. If he can do anything like he did in that little 3-game stretch, I think he can be very, very dependable. The guy cannot stay healthy for some reason. And then, like we talked about with Deontay Johnson, I like Deontay Johnson. He was a guy I used to be very nervous about with the Browns, because he was like their one weapon, you know what I mean? If he can get back to even like that form that he had those first, 3-4 games in Carolina last year where like he was leaned on, I mean, it could be an absolute steal. It's a league minimum. We were the only team that reached out to him, from what I've read. So, but behind that, you're asking a lot of guys that you've been asking, and they can't seem to stay either healthy or elevate themselves up the depth chart. And Michael Woods, David Bell,
Mm-hmm. David Bell recovering from the hip.
Right. Got Jamari Thrash. We're not sure. We see nice things, but we're not sure.
Caught, 3 passes last year as a rookie? I mean, it's bleak. It's barren for sure. And, the thing with Deontay Johnson, watching him with the Steelers, going back in time in the memory machine and everything, like top-level talent whenever he's getting targeted, whenever he's being a focal point in the offense. But when he's not, that's where you start to see the problems.
Like the fumble play where he just kind of took
the fumble play. You'll see him, and he's not going to block. Yeah. He's not going to shoot off the line and block anybody if he's not feeling like he's involved in the game plan. So he's got such an extensive history of this, and I don't mean to harp on the guy, but at the same time, we're fans. We're just talking about what we see. He's got such a long history of being like that. Do you think it really changes? I mean, so we get out there, say we have not competent quarterback play, which isn't a stretch to say for the Browns. I mean, that's well within the realm of possibility, unfortunately. And he's not getting, targeted. He's not a focal point. You could easily see him checking out, right?
Yeah. I mean, I watched our number 1 last year do that.
That's true. Amari Cooper checked out quick.
Kinda,
week 1.
Yeah. I mean, we saw eyes rolling and stuff like that, bad body language. It feels like, at least for Deontay, it feels like a last ride. You know what I mean? Like, this is the last chance probably to get on a roster and then, prove that, like, the silly stuff is behind him. And I don't know exactly what personally he went through because, you know what I mean? I'm just a fan. But,
right.
And I can't speak on that. But I want to believe that the guy's going to come in with good head on his shoulders. You know what I mean? And prove that there's a reason why he was one of those dudes not that long ago.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it was just, like you said, just last year with Carolina starting off the season. Was
hot. He was 8, yeah.
Yeah. But I think he fell out of favor there probably because the quarterback play wasn't the best. I don't know if he was.
Dalton,
I don't know if he was as heavily utilized in the offense as he wanted to be or thought he should be or whatever. So, yeah, the wide receiver situation is not great. And so we signed another tight end the other day, Sal Cannella.
I saw that,
Sal Cannella from the UFL. I'm doing all this off of memory now. Trying to remember
kind of
the Arlington.
Is it Renegades?
Renegades, yes. Yeah, that's who it was. And so tight end, he's like 6'4", 230. So tall, but a little undersized as far as weight goes. But he was I think, leading receiver. He either led all tight ends or the entire UFL. I can't remember, in receiving yards. And the year before that was like in receiving touchdowns. Like, he's been a stud in the UFL. Mm-hmm. Now the Browns signed him. They cut Trey McKitty. And I keep seeing a lot of people say, why are we not signing any wide receivers? Why do we keep signing these tight end guys? Well, one, I think we're running a lot more 2 and 3 tight end sets this year. I think we're going to be utilizing the tight end position more.
Yes.
And at the same time, who are we signing at wide receiver right now? There's nobody in free agency to sign. Don't even say Keenan Allen, guys. He's not coming here. He's not going to come here 33 on the last year of his career or whatever it is. With uncertainty at the quarter. No, it's not going to happen. So we've already got a crap ton. Blake, I said crap ton. I hope you like that. We got a crap ton of these like wide receiver UDFA guys to help us through camp, to be our camp bodies and stuff. Sure. You got your Keyshawn Johnsons, your Caden Davis, your Luke Floria. There's a ton of them to help out. I just don't see who else they're going to sign right now at that position, especially when, man, if they're rolling in with the wide receiver position the way it is, then you got to expect that they're thinking we're going tight and heavy this year.
Yeah. It's going to be Judy and Tillman / Deontay.
And then I think obviously there's going to be a heavy focus on Njoku.
Yes.
I think Njoku's probably your 2.
That's fair.
I know we keep saying Tillman as the 2 and all that kind of stuff, but I think if you're talking about just pass catchers in general, Judy would be your like pass catcher 1.
Yep.
And Njoku's your pass catcher 2.
Yep.
And then I think 3 is kind of up for grabs between Tillman, Johnson if he makes the team,
sure,
and then Harold Fannin Jr. I think could very much get pushed in through this rotation quickly as a rookie just because, first of all, he's 20 years old and he is already he's only played tight end for 3 seasons. That's it, his entire life. And he didn't just like acclimate to the position and become a pretty good tight end. He became the best receiver in the entire nation last year. Like, at the tight end position, compared to the other teams, not a great school. Bowling Green led the nation in receiving. So, I mean, the guy can obviously pick it up and run with it.
The crazy thing, too, with him is, like, you look at his stats and everything, and it's like, what was it, 1,400 and something yards?
1,500.
1,500?
Yeah.
And he was the guy. Everybody going into that weekend game, the Bowling Green game, when you're scouting them up, that was the dude. Yes. That was the dude you had to shut down, and he still did all of that, despite probably being heavily focused as far as, like, defensive planning and all that. I almost could see him, and I don't like the comp as far as the name because the name hasn't lived up, but almost like a Kyle Pitts. You know what I mean? Just super athletic. Like, can you put him in the slot if you had to? Sure. You know what I mean? Because he is a little undersized as far as like a typical blocking tight end.
Well, let me throw a different name at you that I've heard.
Okay.
I heard comped. And this was during the pre-draft process, and I thought this was a good one for him. But Isaiah Likely for the Ravens.
Oh, yeah, super athletic. Yeah,
just that tight, and Likely's the same way.
Yeah.
Undersized for the position.
Yep.
The typical, prototypical inline blocking tight end type of body. Like he's just not that.
Right.
But man, is he athletic? He can catch. He can make plays. He can yards after the catch. That's Harold Fannin.
Yep.
And I think that he could end up playing a lot more and being more involved in the offense than what people might think.
Right. Oh, and then I don't think this is going to happen, but Njoku's contract's up next year.
Yeah. And he's going to be what, 30?
Yeah, getting older.
Yeah.
I know he's Cleveland, he is like the heart of Cleveland sports right now, basically, as far as like the hype man. But we've seen this team now go, hey, we think you might be at the end of the road. We're going a different direction with players that we've loved, and like a Jarvis, like a Nick Chubb. They aren't against moving away from guys if they think they're at the end. So could Harold Fannin be the guy behind Njoku? Absolutely, but hopefully Njoku just finishes in Cleveland.
Yeah, well, we talk all the time about how Njoku's used so much in the blocking game.
Yeah.
Well, if you're using him as your blocker on certain pass plays or whatever, you're trying to run a play action pass and you need him in line to do something, well, now you got a guy behind him who you don't need to do that,
right,
but who can make plays for your offense. And I think we've been lacking that big time. I mean, we tried with Austin Hooper. We tried with Harrison Bryant.
Yep.
I mean, he was the best tight end in college that year. I mean, we've tried with some legitimate people. I mean, Austin Hooper was a good signing at the time because he was coming off a great year, looked like a good option.
He was the highest paid tight end in the league when we signed him.
That's right. Yeah, we did. We did.
Him out. Yeah.
That's right. And so, I mean, we have given this a shot, and I almost feel like that's becoming a theme where the Browns are just trying so hard at some of these positions to get it right, and they just keep missing. And then, like Blake always says, is that Andrew Berry's fault on talent evaluation from the scouting side of things, or is it on the coaching to not being able to develop or get the most out of these guys? I mean, it could be both, too. I don't know, but this is a year where we're going to need to see some guys take strides, develop. We're going to need to see some guys make impacts early in their careers. The rookies, Judkins and Fannin, we talked about, Schlesinger on defense. Mason Graham, we're going to need to see these guys pretty much justify what we did picking them, because we all thought, hey, these are great picks. Hopefully it plays out that way.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Blake's brought that up too. He's always, he says like after the draft, the grade's usually very solid.
Right.
And so like at the time, analysts believe that those guys were in the appropriate places and stuff like that. And then if they end up busting, which, that's a normal part of football, guys bust, they don't work out. But when it becomes a pattern almost, it's hard to argue against. And I like Andrew Berry. I like some of the, a lot of the things that they've done. But, if guys continue to just not work out at certain position groups, whether it's wide receiver, quarterback,
Well, and so going back to the quarterback conversation maybe a little bit here, but, Dylan Gabriel was that late third-round pick. And I can't bring it up right now, and I don't have all the names off the top of my head. But I made a post on social media a while back detailing all the third-round picks that Andrew Berry has made over the last 5 drafts. And how... Okay.
Awesome.
Do you just want to come over now? You come on over.
When you golf in Missouri, the courses are so close, you'll spend more time on the fairway than the freeway. Reserve a tee time at the Regal Osage National, designed by the king himself, Arnold Palmer. Take a cart ride on the wild side in the breathtaking surrounds of Paynes Valley, designed by Tiger Woods. And after the back nine, there's still world-class dining and distilleries, shops and spas, museums, and more. Find your new golf MO in Missouri. Start planning your golf getaway at visitmo.com.
This is an ad by Regain Couples Therapy and features real testimonials.
This was our first time trying therapy, and honestly, it was long overdue. Looking back, we just wish we had started sooner.
Regain's qualified therapists help couples when they can't get there on their own.
We thought it was intimacy issues, but Andrea helped us uncover a deeper root cause we hadn't even realized was there.
Visit regain.com/couplespod to get 10% off your first month. Regain, powered by BetterHelp.
Lowe's knows how to set off your July 4th with savings. Right now, buy one, get one free on select one-coat coverage interior paint via Visa gift card rebate. Plus, get 2 select 2 or 2.5 quart red, white, and blue annuals for just $10. Hurry, these July 4th deals won't last long. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for more details.
Hey, Josh Hall, nice to meet you.
Anthony, nice to meet you, man. Justin.
Justin and Josh.
Yep.
Yep. All right, here you go. You can put that on. All right, so we've got Anthony Griggs sitting down with us. Oh, I'm sorry, here. All right, we got you now?
I think so.
There we go. All right. How's it going today?
It's going good. This ain't a gridiron, that's for sure.
No. So yeah, we're here. I'm sorry. Now I'm trying to get all my. There we go. There he is. Everybody can see him. Justin, why don't you talk for a second? I'm going to adjust my cameras.
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony, thanks for coming and sitting down with us, man. Just want to kind of just give some people some background on you. Played linebacker for the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
You know, taking us to where we're at right now as far as like Cleveland Browns in the 2025 season, you know, you have JOK. He emerged as a star for us, a young star.
Correct.
Got injured, you know, there's some uncertainty about, you know, his future career in general. You know, what are your thoughts on just the linebacker room in general right now?
I like the linebacker. I like the defense overall. I hope they can get back to being what they were, say, 2 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's going to be from the DBs and the linebackers. I always feel they had a pretty good defensive line. They got some people in the draft this year. So overall, as a defense, it's going to have to work together with that. I'd like to see them do that, and I think that's going to be the backbone of their success.
Yes,
okay, yeah, you're looking for offense, looking for big playmakers and everything else, but you got to be able to stop the run, especially when you're talking about the AFC North. There's some killers up there. They got some backs, and they got the linemen, and the Steelers and Cincinnati, what they got. So I'm excited about this season with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what was the question you just asked? I'm sorry, I missed it.
With JOK being out, I just said, you know, like what are your thoughts on how the linebacker room is looking?
Yeah. You know, linebacker this year, I feel like they did a pretty good job, and then because I was kind of going through the cap and everything, the salary cap and what they allocated to that position. And Andrew Berry and that front office, they don't allocate much. I think it's like probably the least, spent on position group on the team, or at least historically with them. But I feel like they got really good value this year with bringing in guys like they brought Devin Bush back, who I thought did pretty well last year. Jerome Baker, who I've always liked, in the NFL.
Hicks.
And then, they still got Jordan Hicks, and then those UDFAs that they've had, Diabate, Winston Reed last year showed out.
That's right.
I was very impressed with Reed last year. So do you want to just kind of talk about maybe the younger guys like the Reed, the Diabate, and even talk about Carson Schlesinger?
Well, as a linebacker, you got to keep that fire going, okay? And I think you come in with young guys like that, okay, UFAs, whatever, coming in, I think you're going to have that's going to be the culture. Your defense is going to be only as good as your linebackers that are making plays sometimes, especially when you get against a good run team or whatever. Yeah. And I think that when you get these young guys coming in, and I say young, they're all young,
right,
as far as their longevity of being with the Browns. Because even Devin Bush, when he was with the Steelers, they were waiting for him to get there. Now he's matured a little bit more, and he understands a little bit better and hopes durability. The thing with linebackers, that's one thing you want is that durability, because you don't want to keep changing pieces as the season goes along. You want to get those young guys in there. I think you're going to see the scheme of things is going to be that you get these linebackers who can come off the edge a little bit more. You send them on blitzes, but it's going to be based on how their secondary is going. Can we cover man-to-man? Can we cover deep zone? Can we cover somebody else? And then we're going to have our linebackers come out. I know there's a lot of technical stuff with that, but
it's all good,
I think that these linebackers are coming in with a desire to show how good they can be. They're tired of hearing all the other linebackers or linebackers in Cincinnati or linebackers in Cleveland. In Steelers. So now they're going to try to just build that up in the cultures of Cleveland Browns.
No, that's great because I don't know how much you know about us. We're a fan-based podcast, And so having guys like you come on here and talk about the player side of things is huge because it just gives a different perspective that obviously we can't provide or anything like that. Or so.
And that's a different and I understand that. And believe me, before you become a player in the NFL, you are a fan somewhere. So then you get to play there, and you're like, man. And the first question in your mind that comes in is at least for me was, man, I'm up here playing at this level. Can I play here? And then you quickly learn, maybe the first practice or a while, that you can play here. Now it's a matter of, can I learn it here? Can I do it consistently? Because it's a hard game to play. It takes a beating on your body, but you've got to understand what you're supposed to do on every single play. There is no excuses to that. So as young guys coming in, they've already gotten past that first barrier, that first rung on the ladder of just coming in, learn, and now you got to produce. And this is the year we want some production.
Absolutely. You kind of talked about the defense getting back to that 2023 form. We touched on it last year. We thought the defense, for the most part, was still pretty much in place, but they were just on the field so damn much that, they're wore out. Third quarter, the body language looks different. Do you think that was a big part of it, was just the offense was always had them on the field?
Yeah, I was looking at that too. That's like, man, sometimes the offense, what are we doing? Three downs and out. We just came out the field, and then all of a sudden you got to go back out there after 4 plays. That's a lot, okay? Especially now with situational defenses you're looking at, bringing in nickelbacks or whatever. You want these guys to be fresh. You want fresh dogs out there to be going after it full throttle all the time. So it does play a little bit as to how the offense is doing. Okay, are we converting first downs? That's what the game to me is all about. Are they converting first downs? It's not going to be how long this play is, because if you stop a team in the red zone, they didn't score, they didn't get a field goal. Okay, it's how long are they able to sustain a drive going down the field? How many are we burning timeouts? Are we getting players on the field for substitutions? Are we getting the right personnel out there? How are they holding up? You go 12 plays, 10 plays in a row as a defensive lineman, and they're going quick huddle. Whew, that's a long day. So I'm looking at trying to get us as an offense. It kind of works in both ways, to get the offense to get a sustainable drive, at least to give that defense a rest, and then you'll see a different defense out there.
Well, to kind of go off of that too, then how much of a disadvantage does it put you guys on the defensive side of the ball if your offense can't score points and you guys are playing from behind? Because then the other team's just kind of doing whatever they want, and then they kind of go more to that run game to kind of kill the clock. So that's more physicality against you guys over and over.
Sure,
yeah,
sure. And as a defense, and be honest with you, as a defense, as an NFL player, okay, whatever it is, whatever the situation is, whenever you're on the field, you're not on the sideline going, oh, they can't score, oh, we're on the field again. It's like now, you're like a SEAL Team 6, whatever it takes.
Yep.
Okay, we're in. Okay, they got a pick. We came off the field, they got an interception, we're back on the field. Okay, we're not going to go, we're tired, we're not going to use any excuses of, we just got off the field. If a guy comes in a huddle on defense and goes, oh, man, I'm so tired. We just got off the field. Get out of here.
Right.
We don't need you on the field.
I love that.
We need guys who are going to be fully committed every single play, no matter what the situation is. We're defense. That's what we do. So when we get out there, we got to do what we do. And as things turn out, that's the part of the game. That's just what it is. They're not going to take any plays off. The offense, whoever we're playing, they're going to come at us with full throttle, and we got to match it, at least match it and try to beat it. And so when we get out there, your mentality, and you build that up in camp, you build that up in the off season, that you're going to go in there no matter what it takes, no matter what the weather is, no matter what's going on, no matter what is happening, no matter what your injuries are, how much pain, you can overcome it, and you can get the results you want.
I love the intensity right here. I feel like you could probably still go out there. It's like you're getting ready for game
day.
I look forward to seeing you at training camp, hyping them up out there, man. I need this.
Hey, real quick, so we did on YouTube here, DeAndre Black wanted to, I know we mentioned him a little bit ago, but he wants us to ask you about just your opinion on Winston Reed, the UDFA from last season.
When people come into the league, I'm always like, they may have spurts of greatness, or spurts like, okay, I see why they took him. Okay, now can he be consistent? Can he do some things? And I think so. I've seen, at least for me, in my opinion, and it's all opinion, it's all subjective opinions. But you just want him to, number one, as a player, you want injuries to not be a big factor. Everybody's going to be hurt. Everybody's going to have an ache and pain here. You're not going to be as fresh as you were during this offseason. So here we have a guy who's come in and showed some of those spurts and showed that he can play, but can he do it consistently? Because in the NFL, that's what it's all about. It's just a matter of being consistent. Oh, yeah, he can do it. Is he going to do it this play? Is he going to do it that play? We need you to do it every single play. Or at least have that you're winning 90% or 80% of the plays, okay? But as a defensive coordinator and players, we're expecting you to make the play every single time. Every single time you're in the huddle. We're one of the guys. So I think he'll do that now. I want the leadership stuff to come out, too, because we want that to be a big part of your game, too. As a player on the team, yeah, you have ability. Yeah, you make some plays, but we need you to be a leader on this team to take it to another level.
Actually, so there's one other guy. Sorry,
I
wanted to ask you about because he's listed as edge rusher or outside linebackers. The Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, who they signed this offseason. And I feel like I want your opinion because I feel like not a lot of people are talking about him and what he could potentially add to that defensive front. But let me hear your opinion on him.
The big thing now that you see in the league is that edge rusher.
Yeah.
Okay, that guy who can be out there, and every team tries to acquire him. You get edge guy. Okay, but if you can do duality where you can be an edge rusher or be a down guy, great. Yep. So you have the dexterity, you have the flexibility to be able to do that. Now it's a matter of it gives the defense a chance to think and come up with other schemes. Okay, can you do it just from the right or can you do it from the left? Can you do it from both sides? Now the offense doesn't know where you're at. They have to account for you. And if you're effective, they will have to account for you. Okay, that's what T.J. Watt does in Pittsburgh. You got to know where he is on the field. So you get one of those guys. Okay, Myles Garrett, where is he? Is he on the field? Is he on the field? He's one of the 11 guys on that field. He's playing back there in the secondary for a reason or whatever. So if he can be one of those guys that comes in and gets a niche where he's in there on third and long, third downs, or whatever, he starts making that offensive tackle a little jittery because I'm on your side, here I come, and he can get that. And I think he can because it seems like his athletic ability, his dexterity and his size accounts for it. He did it in college, so now it's a matter of can you do it at this level? Okay, I'm not looking at what you did against other teams in the conferences you were in college. Now I'm looking at you're doing it consistently against other guys who are really good too. This tackle is good. This halfback is good. This quarterback is going to see you. He's going to check something out. He's going to give rid of the ball quicker. The tackle is going to be waiting for you. He's going to be back there before you know it. He's not a slouch. You're not going to go against any slouch players. So we'll see what happens with that, but I'd like to see him just take it and make it his own.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I guess for this year, the 2025 year, what are your honest expectations? Now that the draft's over, free agency, we're heading towards camp, so it's still kind of up in the air, but do you think that we can be a team like 2023, or is it going to be kind of maybe not so much so?
Well, I touched on the offense giving the defense playing together with that. I like to see big plays on some special teams and all, but you don't really count that in. But if we can get a good returner, we can get some good kicks. The kicking game has all been nullified because of the rules and everything else with that. Okay, but I think the Browns are like a hidden secret right now. Everybody knows who the quarterback is with Cincinnati, Baltimore. Okay, the Steelers are going through their thing. Okay, but I think the Browns have some pretty good quarterback prospects. Out of any year that they've had before, they got some people in there now. Okay, who all have a sort of they're wearing it on their sleeve. They want to do better. They want to have something. Okay, they want to get it off their chest. They all have their own little soap opera drama that they came in with. With that said, I like to see the offense really be up there in scoring and getting higher numbers, not just in points. I mean on passes per game, yardage per game, ground. That they're putting together a game. Not that 2.1 per rush. You get up there 4 point something per rush. You know, we're getting 13, 15 per catch. Okay, after the catch, we got some people in there that are doing some threats. This puts a defense on their heels when you got threats. Okay, offensive line is giving that quarterback, whoever will be, enough time. The quarterback is able to get his read and going through his progression. Okay, and I'm saying a lot on the offense because I want to see that as effective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's GFR offensive line can gel enough, okay, to play enough. Yeah, you might have some sacks, but not just 2 in a row, 3 in a row, and out. No, we can't have that. We can't have certain things happen this season. So I'm optimistic.
Good.
I like to see the quarterback. I was happy when they got Pickett, who's still in the conference going against Steelers.
Right.
He's got an edge. Okay, he's got a chip on his shoulder. Shadir Sanders, chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all of them come in with chip on their shoulder. Okay, Flacco, you come in, chip on your shoulder. Come in, be hungry. Don't be satisfied with anything. So if you can come in with that and show the league or show the AFC North that you're coming in here as the Browns, we're not the same Browns we were last year. We're not. And we're going to show you that on the field, on defense and on offense and special teams.
Because there was just such a disappointment last year coming off of that 2023 season whenever, I mean, like half the team was injured. I mean, we had no business competing with anybody, let alone making the playoffs after we lost so many guys, and yet we did.
It was
bad. Stefanski rallied the troops. Everybody was playing together cohesively.
Yes.
And it was just so much fun to watch. And then last year it was like, what are we watching now?
Well, I was watching. That's how I was when I was watching in 2023 the playoff game against Houston. Who are these guys?
Right.
I'm seeing the defense all the way up to this point, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Letting them run around, deep receivers catching balls, not tackling them. It was just disappointment from that game on. But I'm hoping that, and I know it's every season, but I'm hoping that we can not relate back to 2023, but to have a whole new identity than we did in 24.
Yeah.
That's all. Just have a whole new identity. And I think Stefanski has talked about that. I think he wants that. I think the players want that. You got a nice mix of veterans and some young guys that are coming in, but they got to start from day one. And that means training camp.
Yep, set the tone.
That set the tone.
Well, as far as that identity goes then, I mean, we really haven't seen the Browns have an identity since, Nick Chubb's last full healthy season, which was, 2022. And we had Chubb, we had Kareem Hunt. It was we're going to run it down your throat, we're going to beat you up front and all that kind of stuff, play good defense, and it was a lot of fun. And then obviously week 2 of 2023, Chubb goes down and he's out. Jerome Ford just is not the type of running back to handle a lead back role. It's just not his game, and that's okay. But we were just playing guys out of position after that. So do you think they can get back to that identity with the guys they drafted, with Quinshon Judkins, with Dylan Sampson, these guys?
Yeah, you got to love Judkins. You got to love what he brings. I love those additions where you're getting some skilled guys that have shown some things in college and promise. I know that's part of just the draft, but I think that a lot of teams will draft people and just have them on the bench or what have you. We need you right now. We want you to be productive right now and come in here, not to get just your own little accolades or whatever. We need you right now because we have some needs as a team.
Yep.
Okay? Run the run game. Run game is only going to be effective as the offensive line. Okay? Run game is only going to be effective as they'll put people in the box then, but then it's going to be your pass game. Okay, the run game is going to be effective of who the halfbacks we have back there. Can they get the extra yards? And if Judkins can show that he can do that early on, that he's playing like a kid on fire, a rookie on fire, I just think I don't know, maybe I'm having high hopes for it, but I think that's what he can do.
I think people have kind of agreed with, I think that them drafting the 2 rookie running backs is huge as far as just the pace of what we want to do as an offense. If we can actually, because I don't know how you feel. Last year I felt like we kind of just abandoned the run because we just kind of couldn't, it kind of just felt like that. So them not only addressing the position, but then going and getting a second young, hungry stud dude at that position. I'm excited about it. You mentioned, the 4 quarterbacks, and they're all hungry. They all have a chip. They all have something to earn, show. There's, we have an extra first next year. Do you think that any of these guys that are battling right now can be the franchise guy moving forward?
You know, Pickett has matured.
Sure.
Being in Philadelphia, he's matured a little bit. I say mature just as a person.
Yes.
Okay. And so, what is your approach now that you're in the league? Do you want to be that person, and all this other ego stuff or whatever we might think it might be has to be let go? So, Shadir, same thing. You're playing professional football, and you got to see that player that wants to take that position. I know everybody wants to start, but you got to show you command that you have separated yourself to be in that position. Okay. The battle's going to be on in training camp on every single day. You got to come out and learn and get it and get your progressions, and the coach has got to feel comfortable with you. So that means when you're not on the practice field, you got to be into it. Okay, you got to be into being a Browns player, Brown leader. I'm going to be the leader on the team and being there. So the off season with some of the things that have happened up to this point with Spear or whatever, you can't do those kind of things because the players will be like, what are you doing? Right. I mean, I get it, but everybody can get tickets or whatever and go speed them, but not this kind of stuff, not the stuff where you're going that fast in that car. Hey, we were all young at one time, we all did things, but when you're trying to get a spot to be the Browns quarterback, which if you get to be a Browns quarterback now as the young guys, you'll be there for a long time, and this city will embrace you.
Absolutely.
And that's what the city has embraced you. That's what I see as a former Browns. After you played, the city has embraced you just being a Browns player. If you take the Browns and help the Browns get somewhere that they haven't been to in a long time, the NFL has never seen a city go as crazy as the Browns will get.
Oh, it would be insane.
I guarantee they will not see a parade. They will not see the meeting the players after the game. They will not see the world's Browns people who are in the caves now that have come out from everywhere. And so that's kind of what the optimistic part of my mindset is, to see the Browns get to that level.
I always say it's like a rabid fan base. They're extremely, extremely loyal, and like you said, they will love you.
Love it.
Yeah. I mean,
yes.
But it's one of those things where it's been through a lot. It's just
they've been through a lot. I was there with the John Elway drive. I was there with the Ernest Biner fumble the year after, and I've seen some good things. I've seen the quarterback revolving door happen and all that. So now, okay, the revolving door doesn't have to happen anymore for a while. Okay, so now you got quarterbacks. Now it's just choosing the right one that can do some things. And so the franchise quarterback is amongst those four. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know who I even want it to be. But whoever it's going to be, better just take it, and when they get it, live up to what the Browns' expectations are, and set some other ones. You know, why not?
Yeah.
I think that is I like you brought up the tickets with Shador. I mean, is it the end of the world that he was speeding? No, absolutely not. But you're right. I mean, if you were the backup, left guard, maybe you're going to make the practice squad. It's no one's even going to know about it. But you're fighting to potentially be not just the starter. You're going to be the face of the franchise. That's if you become the starting quarterback, the leader of the whole team. You got to have a little more self-awareness about what you're doing, and those kind of things are going to get blown up in the media. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, it's what everybody's talking about. I mean, everybody's got opinions ranging from who cares to cut him. And it's wild, but it just comes with the territory of being a potential franchise quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, and look, you're a young guy, okay? You're right where you want to be, doing what you want to do, getting the money you want to get, and more. You come from that, okay? But can you balance it? Can you just contain it? Can you manage it? You're here to try to win a spot to be the quarterback of an NFL team. There's only so many of those in the world. You're trying to be one of those. Okay, to be one of those takes consistent mindset. Okay, this organization, they're not playing around. Right. If you want to be that person, you got to show that you're not playing around. You got to show that this is what you want to do. They're going that fast a couple times. That's not a mistake. You made a decision to do that. That's not like, I guess I was just going over the speed limit. No, you weren't just going over it. You were going faster than you needed to go, and they held you accountable to that. So whatever you got to do to make amends with that is to pour yourself back into the Browns and don't do that again, because that's 2 strikes right there, and you're going to lose some of your fellow players, as you spoke of, and you're going to lose some credibility with the fans. The fans want you to succeed. Whatever way you got here, and that's what I said when you got drafted, whatever way you get here, you're with the Browns now. Now it's up to you to just live up to whatever you think you can do, okay? So forget about whatever the NFL or whatever people think, or the conspiracy theory and all the other stuff. You're here. You're with a team in camp. Okay, let's see how you practice. Let's see how you work. That's the only thing that a coach or even your fellow players will see, how you work. They will embrace you in how you work. After that, it's going to be the things that happen off the field.
Well, we'll get you out of here quick so you can go bowl with everybody else. But before you do, is there like one story from your playing days that you know is kind of the most fond in your memory that you just want to share with everybody?
Well, sometimes people think that you played in the NFL for 7 years, Anthony Griggs. You played with Philadelphia, you played with Cleveland for 3 years. Boy, you must have been No, I wasn't. Must have been something in college. You were incredible in college, or you were All-American. No. I went to Villanova out of Ohio when I was in New Jersey, went to high school there, but I went to New Jersey and I went to Villanova because that was a close school, hour away. And then they dropped the football program going in my senior year. So I didn't have no football, and I was okay. I wasn't trying to get to the NFL. Howie Long was a year ahead of me out of Villanova. So I went to Ohio State. That was the school that came and got these other players. There's 4 of us that went. I was the only senior. So I went to Ohio State. I wasn't starting. So after that, season was over. I was walking across campus, and the season was over. I was out of football. It was already done. I was a regular student. And so one of my guys that had played football, I was on the team, he goes, hey, you know they're having a pro day over there. I didn't even know what a pro day was. He said, you go over there, and you're a senior. You can go over there, and you can run and see if the NFL would take you based on your time. I was like, oh, maybe. Okay, I go over there. And I see the first coach, and the first coach goes, hey, Anthony, haven't seen you in a long time. What have you been doing since the season's over? Oh, I'm just walking around. And he goes, what are you doing over here? I said, I just come over because this is like pro day, someone told me, and I have seniors come over and run. He goes, oh, yeah, you can, but it's invitation only. It's only for the NFL. They tell us who they want to have run, and then we get them over here. And he said, well, you can watch if you want to watch. I said, okay, I'll watch or whatever. So I'm watching a little bit and waiting for them to get started. And the second coach comes over to the first coach and said, hey, we're about to get started. And he sees me and he goes, oh, Anthony, hey, what are you doing here? And the first coach goes, oh, he came over here because he thought he could run, but I had to tell him that it was just for our guys they invited, And he goes, well, if you want to run, you can run. If you're here, you might as well run. I said, nah, I'm good. I don't want to run. I'm football. I got class in about 2 hours. I'm okay. I'm going to sit here and watch. He goes, no, you're here. They're walking away. And he goes, you sure? I said, okay, I'll run. I run a 40, do some drills. And then the scouts are coming up to me, and they're like, a couple of scouts. Hey, you're Anthony Griggs. Where'd you come from? I came from Villanova. I was a transfer here. Okay, I'd like to get in touch with you. You have an agent over there? I was like, agent? I have 2 hours before class. I just came over here just to do some stuff. So, okay, fast forward now it's draft day. And I was the only senior living in a dorm. Over there, everybody had a car. Everybody living in condos and houses. I was the only guy living in a dorm, didn't have a car. I was okay. And I lived with a roommate of mine who was an entomologist, major, studied bugs and everything. And so I come back from class and he goes, hey, Dick Vermeil, I can't think of his name. He called, said he's going to call back. I said, Dick Vermeil. He calls me back, Anthony, we're thinking of taking you in the 4th round of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm thinking it's a joke because I'm from New Jersey. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, okay, whatever, do it. Joke. So he called me back, goes, Anthony, how's it feel to be a Philadelphia Eagle? We'll be taking you in the 4th round. Okay, great. My secretary's going to call you to get the arrangements for you to fly out here. So I end up taking a call from her, and I'm thinking it's still a joke until she goes, okay, we're going to give you the confirmation number. I'm like, hey, whoa, confirmation number? What? For what? She goes, oh, well, we got to get a confirmation so you go to the airport and you can give them that. I said, oh, is this real? She goes, yeah. So I end up flying in. I call my mom. Hey, I'm coming home. She thought I got kicked out of school, blah, 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 blah. So I go to the Eagles, and I'm sitting there with the 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round. Here I am. And then 5th round, 6th round. I was 12 rounds back then.
That's
and so they're all looking at me and they're going, hey, Anthony, the players like, hey, were you 3rd team All-American? Because we don't recognize your name. No, I wasn't 13. I was just sitting there collecting hats. Nobody wanted the bag of gifts. I was like, good. I was like Cinderella story.
Awesome.
Eating. So that was my story. And so I said, no, I wasn't. They said, were you all Big Ten? No, I only played like the last 2 games of the season because the guy got hurt. So I went over to the field house and ran a 40, and that's how they did it. Bang, bang, bang.
Wow.
So that was it. And that was my story. 7 years. Here I am sitting here talking on the podcast.
That's incredible.
Man, well, it's a good thing you decided to run and do drills that day, man. No kidding.
Hey, so you never know. You never know how things end up. I enjoy it. It was a great time. It was a great time. Cleveland fans are phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, don't think that you're not appreciated. I can say this. Back when you play as a player, you don't really appreciate. You do, but just on a level of just appreciating them. I got my thing to do. I'm a Brown. I'm trying to win. But when you come out and you see that they've been Browns players, Browns fans, and they know the players, and their lives are invested in, it's like, wow. And I tell them, I love them. Mm-hmm. I love you guys. I love Browns fans because I've worked at the Steelers for 13 years for a while.
Yeah.
And I've been in Philadelphia. And the Browns fans, they're like simmering. They're simmering right now, waiting for this thing to boil up again and take them to the next level. And that's where they were in 2023. So this could be the year of everything just hitting the head. And I think it will.
I love that.
That is great. Well, hey, Anthony, thank you so much for sitting down and talking with us and everybody out there who's watching right now. We appreciate it. As Browns fans, obviously, it's wonderful to talk to you guys. So
it's great.
You're great, man.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I appreciate it.
Good luck. Are you going to bowl?
I'm going to throw a bowl down this lane here.
Yeah?
It's going to look like bowling because they got 10 pins, but I don't know if I caught that.
Did you get the ball?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, the Browns backers and whoever, they got you guys each your own personal bowling ball. Did you get the holes drilled?
Drills,
Yeah,
man.
so they drill out the holes back here for these guys, so it fits your fingers perfully and everything. Like, it's insane.
I got to get my mind right. I'm a linebacker. I got to get my mind right. I try to win. I got to throw it underhand. I don't know about that, but it's going to work.
All right,
I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you so
Anytime
much.
you need me, just let me know.
Will do. Yeah, appreciate it.
Awesome.
Guys, we'll be right back with you guys here in just a minute.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at The Dogs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.
Running a business can be exhausting. Building your website shouldn't be. With Wix, you can express your ideas, give direction, then leave the heavy lifting to AI, from site creation to branded content and images. Have fun with the details. Customize what you want the way you want, and manage your whole business from a centralized dashboard with expert AI tools. Build, scale, and enjoy the incredible results. You can do it all yourself on Wix.
Este Prime Day, del 8 al 11 de julio, puedes conseguir una gran oferta en un nuevo spa de pies. Te transformará en la reina de la relajación.
¡Espera! ¡Tiene chorros de burbujas! ¡Vale!
Compra grandes ofertas este Prime Day, del 8 al 11 de julio.